loves, it's Chellbee. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time seeing me, thank you so much for joining, and I hope you love today's video and that you do hit the subscribe button. I'm Chellbee. I'm the blogger behind Chellbee.com. I'm also the voice behind the I Am Chellbee podcast, and I'm so happy that you joined me today. Today we are going to be Bible studying. So I'm going to take you guys into Bible studying with me, and in particular we're going to be talking about Ruth. I really love the book of Ruth. I read it with a internet friend of mine, and it was just a really great story. It was short. It's only 4 verses, so it's not a long book at all, but it spoke so many volumes about the different things that women can exemplify and the different types of characteristics that we as women can exemplify. But yeah, so I love the book. And if you guys have already read the book, please jump in the comments below. Let me know what was one of the characteristics of Ruth that stood out to you, that spoke to you, and you know, that really resonated with you as a woman. I would love to hear from you guys. My favorite quote in particular from Ruth was Ruth 1:16-17. So 16 and 17 in Ruth 1. And I'm going to read it from my Bible. I have the English Standard Version, so it may sound different if you have a different translation. All right. Just have my hand on it. There we go. So my favorite verse in Ruth was Ruth 1, and it is verse 16-17, and it reads, "But Ruth said, 'Do not urge me to leave you or to return from following you. For where you go, I will go, and where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there will I be buried.'" Now, if you have not read Ruth, if you're like me and it's like spoiler alert because you don't want to know what happened in the book, you might want to turn off the video right now and watch this after you're done. I personally was like, don't tell me before I read it because I didn't want to know. Like, I wanted to just read it by myself before I heard anything about it. But so this is your time to click off the video and turn it off if you don't want to know what's going to happen, because I'm going to talk about it. So in Ruth, Ruth is the daughter-in-law of Naomi, and Naomi's 2 sons were married to Ruth and to Oprah. Oprah is briefly mentioned in the book of Ruth, but both of her sons are killed in war, just as her husband was also, I believe, killed in war years before. So now there's these 3 women, and they've all lost their husband, and their only connection to each other are their husbands. And so Naomi is urging Ruth to, like, go home. She told Ruth and Oprah, you know, go home, return to your family, because, you know, there's nothing left here for you because my sons are gone. You don't have, like, any allegiance to me, or you don't owe me anything. And Ruth, and this is just one of those things to me that stood out about just how much integrity and character and how obedient she was, like, as a woman. Like, she, to me, exemplified what it meant to be one flesh, which they talk about in Genesis, in marriage, you know, that you become one and their family becomes your family and you guys become one individual. So to me, like, her allegiance to Naomi was like, you are my family now, and I'm not going to leave you, and you know, wherever you go, I'm going, and your God is my God, and your people are my people, and I'm not going to leave you alone to go back to anybody, because you are my family. And to me, that just spoke so much, you know, to my spirit as a wife, you know, and as a daughter-in-law. It meant a lot that she did that. And if you are married, I'm sure you understand, like, you don't all of a sudden stop being their family because you lose your significant other, or because you guys are no longer in a relationship. You know, you never stop being their family. You never lose those memories. So it's really hard to just detach yourself and walk away from what you've known. So I really love that. But the book in general to me is like, it's like a love story. It's also just like a story of how you can be excellent no matter what you're doing. Like how even at the lowest level, you know, even if you are, you know, living in poverty, or even if you're a servant, you can still exhibit excellence. Like you can still function to the highest of your abilities and be the best person that you can be, no matter where you may be on the totem pole, I guess, if that makes sense. Like you may not be a high priest or anything. I'm speaking more in biblical terms, obviously, because we don't really do high priests in today's society. But no matter where you are, you know, you can still exhibit excellence. And to me, that's what Ruth exhibited. You know, her and Naomi, they returned back home to Naomi's home, and Ruth is pretty much like picking up wheat, or picking up I think it's called wheat, picking up wheat behind the farmers. And she's, you know, just in the field working, but she still did it to like the best of her abilities. She was kind while she was out there. You know, she was still a really good person, despite the fact that like she really didn't have any place in the field, and she probably could have gone and done something differently if she chose to go back to her family. But she still chose to stay with Naomi despite really not knowing what that future would hold. And most of all, even though she didn't know what that future would hold, she still was like positive and had a good attitude about it. And it showed in people around her, like people in the fields and in Boaz. They seen the kind of person that she was, and they kind of had no choice but just to like respect her, and to a certain extent, you know, have love for her for the kind of character that she exemplified. And I just mentioned Boaz, but I didn't explain who he is. So Boaz is like semi like relative of Naomi's husband, and he owns the farm that's nearby. And so he looks out for Ruth while she's in the fields, and he basically, you know, tells his workers like, look out for her, you know, make sure she eats with you guys, make sure that she's, you know, with the women so that she's safe and no one's gonna attack her. He looks out for her, and he doesn't even know her. Like he knows nothing about her besides the fact that, you know, she's been in the field helping, and she didn't have to. She really didn't belong there, honestly. Like she had no business there, but she was kind, she was nice to everybody, and people seen that and they wanted to help her. And so eventually, and not that it's a really long story, but eventually Naomi tells Ruth that she should go and I think lay next to Boaz's feet while he's asleep. And Boaz is the older guy. He's not, you know, Naomi's age. He's not rich, you know, he's not super handsome or anything like that. But Ruth was obedient. You know, she listened to Naomi and she did as she was told. And, you know, Boaz seen that, and he admired that, and he appreciated that. And that was one of her second acts of kindness towards him. And they got married. So it became a love story ultimately, which was like the sweetest thing, was the fact that it became like this love story of just this woman who was just being the best person she could be, no matter what her circumstances was. She still managed to have a good attitude and still, you know, strive to do the best that she could do, and it worked out for her. So I took away a lot from Ruth in general. To me, it was a love story. It was a story about excellence. It was a story about how God can reward you and protect you even when you least expect it, even when it feels like you're at the lowest of lows. Like you never know how quickly God can just swoop in and change everything. And it was a story of obedience and honor. You know, she was obedient even before she knew it was even a possibility for her to be lifted up. Like she was being obedient and being the best her she could be. And it applies in everyday life today, like right now. Like just being the best person that you can be right now even if, you know, you feel like your prospects or your future looks dim, it doesn't mean that you can't be excellent at where you're at right now. You know, it's Harley. My dog's in here, so I'm sorry if you guys hear puppy noises. But at every stage we're in life, we always have the decision whether or not we're going to choose to be excellent or whether or not we're going to choose to be mediocre. And I can definitely say that in the past, I was so far away from Ruth. You know, I definitely was not a woman of Ruth in the past. And so yeah, I've learned a lot of real life lessons about just how we choose to look at marriage and look at possible suitors. All right, that sounds so old school. Look at possible husbands. Like, sometimes our heart is in the wrong place. Like, you know, we're worried about money, and we're worried about looks. We're worried, you know, most of the time we're worried about things that don't matter in the long run and that won't sustain a marriage. And I'm so thankful that God removed that spirit from me before I married my husband. I don't know how he removed it, but you know, those weren't things that I was focused on when I met him. And so I'm just thankful that that spirit was off of me when we met. But, you know, just recognizing and understanding that the person that you're going to spend your life with, it can't be based on superficial things that have no intrinsic value. Like, it has to be, you know, based on the type of person they are. Like, who are they at heart, you know? It has to be based on, your relationship has to be set on a strong foundation that have nothing to do with material things, is what it really comes down to. And you know, you have to understand that there will be ups and downs. So you really want to marry somebody, and you want to consider somebody marriage material who you feel like you would be okay with going through those ups and downs with, because when it's down, it's not easy. But I don't think, and even with Ruth, like, it wasn't like she was looking for a new husband. You know, she was just doing what Naomi told her to do. She was just being herself, you know, being a good woman, being a woman of excellence. And she happened to end up marrying or becoming Boaz's wife, which then led to them having children. And I say both Ruth and Boaz, both of them separately and together, they both just demonstrated, you know, obedience and honor and excellence in everything that they did. You know, Boaz, he asked his Redeemer whether or not he could take, whether or not he wanted to take the land, because he knew that was the right thing to do. So, I mean, realistically, what that says is that there was a chance that he was not going to be able to get the land, and in turn, he would not have been able to marry Ruth. Someone else would have married Ruth, but he took that chance anyways, because he knew that was the right way to do, and that's how, you know, that's how they moved back then. That was the way that was the order in which things worked. And even though it may not have ended up working in his favor, he still did accordingly. So he was still obedient, even if it meant that he wasn't going to, you know, things weren't going to turn out maybe the way that he wanted them to. He still chose to be obedient anyways. So it was just an amazing story. It's literally, I think it's 3 pages. So if you're looking for something to read, and you want something that's just positive, like sweet, and just says a whole lot about, you know, the type of women we can choose to be, and gives us a good example of the type of woman we can choose to be, Ruth is definitely a great place to start. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you have not already, please make sure you hit the subscribe button. I'm going to get out of here because my dog is running around like a crazy person. Let me let you guys see him. I'm gonna go with Harley. Me and him are gonna go. Say bye-bye. Anyways, so me and Harley are gonna go. Him with his little cone head. He just had his surgery, so he's looking a little crazy right now. But we're gonna go. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I definitely want a Bible study with you guys again soon. If you guys want to do so, let me know in the comments if there's any books you guys would like to Bible Bible story. If there's any books that you guys would like to Bible study together. Until next time, you guys be blessed and have a great day. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.